So, good morning, everyone. Today I will start with the topic applications of digital signal processing. Okay, and sorry, due to some technical issues, we are not able to join the MS team today. So, we'll continue our class today using this Skype meeting. Okay, and in future, if we find such kind of situation, then we will continue our classes through Skype meeting only. Okay, so in the application of DSP, if you see, I have noted down some of the common applications over here. Okay, so the first one is the space technology. Okay, so how does digital signal processing, it helps us in exploring the space. Okay, now in space, what is the primary requirement for going into the space? The primary requirement is that we need a rocket, or which we also called as launching vehicle. When we talk about the launching vehicle, what happens over here? It has to be what you call taken off from the launching ground. Now, since the time of launching off till it reaches the space, it follows a certain trajectory. Now, who decides the trajectory? The trajectory is decided by the pre-programmed commands which are given to the control system of the launching vehicles. Okay. Now, during this process, when the rocket is in its process from the rocket is in the process of what you call being launched from the launching station till it goes to the space, and again thereafter we track the movement of the set of the rocket or the launching vehicle continuously through the ground station. Okay, now how this is possible? That means the launching vehicle itself, it emits some signal which are being perceived or received by the ground station, okay, or monitoring station. Ground station, the monitoring station. Okay, so what is this? So if you see, the launching vehicle is basically sending some signals to the ground station which are enabling them to monitor the movement of the launching vehicle. Okay, now once the satellite or the land rovers, as in the case of Chandrayaan 2, which was partially successful. So I hope everyone knows about the Chandrayaan 2, right? It was a very optimistic project by the ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization, right? And the major important thing or the commendable thing of the Chandrayaan 2 was that the budget for the ISRO was quite less, and even then the ISRO scientists were able to send the land rover up to the moon, but however, due to some technical issues, the rover could not function and it crashed. Okay, so anyhow, but the satellite which was sent, which was also sent along with the Chandrayaan 2, so what happened? It is still functioning and it is giving us some good quality images from the moon, right? So what is happening? Now once you send the land rover or the satellite itself, and they are working properly, what do? They send images back to the ground station which is present in the earth. So what you do? What is an image? Image is also nothing but a signal, right? Image is also nothing but a signal. So it is acquiring the signal, it is doing some pre-processing, and then the rovers and the space satellites, they are sending those informations to the ground station. Okay. Now recently you have also seen that there is a sustained Indo-China border clash. Okay. Now how the Indian agencies, they are monitoring the activity of the Chinese troops. Again, India is having some defense satellites, and those defense satellites, they are taking pictures of the earth from the space, and from there they are giving us information about the military buildup across the Indo-China border. So you can see the space the space technology, it uses DSP in a greater way, which can not only be used for science purpose, for exploring the space, they are also used in the defense, right? They are also used in monitoring the environment. Say for example, last year we faced a cyclone, super cyclone, Fani. Okay. So the movement of this super cyclone could be tracked using the space satellites which India is having in the space, in the Earth orbit. Okay. So you can see DSP is playing an important role in the space technology, and this space technology, it in itself, it is allowing us in a variety of what do you call applications. Okay, it may be a military application, it may be environmental application, it may be exploring the space, right? Now let us come to the second application, business. So to start with, we are talking about the next application of DSP is in the business. Okay. Now in the business, we can have an understanding how the DSP can help us in business is through the stock exchange. So what is a stock exchange? Any idea? No?
That means share marketing. Share marketing, sir?
Yeah. So stock exchange, we buy and sell shares of companies. So how many stock exchanges are there in India? There are two stock exchanges in India.
Yes. NSE and BSE, sir, two.
BSE and NSE.
NSE.
So BSE is Bombay Stock Exchange and NSE is National Stock Exchange. Similarly, US, they also have two stock exchanges. One is Dow Jones. Dow Jones Stock Exchange, and another one is your Nasdaq. Okay. Singapore is having Singapore Stock Exchange, SGX. Okay. Now what happens is that when you are buying or when you are selling and buying the stocks, basically you are doing the trading. The process of buying and selling combinedly, it is called as trading. It is not only true in these share markets, but also in any of the businesses. If you are buying something and you are selling something, what you call trading. Okay. Likewise, if there is there are any persons who are selling the groceries, you tell them grocery traders, right? So you buy and sell. When you buy and sell, then the process is called trading. Now, in stock exchanges, what we do, we trade shares. Okay. Now the thing over here is that if you follow the news, you will find that on a time scale, over here it is usually day, but you can also break it down into smaller time frames within a day itself also. But for the sake of understanding, I will take it as a day. So I am having 0 day, I am having 1 day, I am having 2 day, I am having 3 day. So these values are in days. And why I have written? Because these are discrete. It is not a continuous one. So the days cannot be continuous because it is we cannot say 0.001 or 0.5 day like that. We cannot say. Okay. And in the y-axis we have price. Okay. So in 0 day you will be having some values, closing values. In 1 day you will be having some closing values. There are other values like opening values, high value, low value, and all these things are there. So I will just concentrate on the closing values. That means on that specific day, at what price the shares or the indices like Nifty index or BSE index, they have performed. Okay. So so in each of the day, you will be having some values like this. Now, what are these? Again, see, these are amplitude values, right? So across an independent variable, we are having a dependent variable price, which is changing across the days. Now, suppose you want to take a trade on 4th day, the DSP can allow you to model these price actions and will return you with a value for a 4th day. It may not be very accurate, but it will give you a trend. That means whether the market will go up or it will go down. So accordingly, you can plan your own trade. Okay. Accordingly, you can plan your own trade. So the smart investors, they take the help of digital signal processing to do the trading. Okay. As you know that when you want to trade, whether you are a grocery store owner or you are a car maker, you want to do or you want to make profits all the time. No one likes to take a loss. Okay. So the DSP can provide you a tool which can allow you to take your business decisions in a more informed manner. Okay? Do you get my point? So, say for example, sir, it is only for the stock market. What about if I want to buy, say, umbrellas? Okay. So over there also, the signal processing can play an important role. Okay. How? When you sell umbrellas, does the umbrella sell all the time in the year? So you are having 12 months, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. You are having 12 months. Does the umbrella sell all the 12 months in an equal proportion? No.
No, sir.
The umbrella will sell more in the time of summer.
No, sir. Only
Where?
only rainy season.
Rain season, sir.
In summer, where many people will try to use the umbrella to get protection from the sun rays. Okay. Second is the rainy season, when people would like to get protection from the rains. So in India, we are having 4 seasons. So out of these 4 seasons, if you see, the selling of umbrella is high only in 2 seasons, and in rest of the 2 seasons, the selling of umbrella will not be that great. So the manufacturer of the umbrella, he can take an informed decision that he will be ready with new stocks of the umbrella just before summer and the rainy season. And in the other seasons, he can try to figure out if he can make some other types of commodities. Okay. So it was in this fashion. Now coming to the medical aspect, in terms of business, we quite often get influenza. Yeah, we often get influenza. When do we get the influenza? There is a specific time. Say in the month of, mostly in the month of in the seasons of winter, say December to February, or even we can say November to February, basically, because from November we get the winter waves or cold waves. So during this period, the drugs which are used for the treatment of the influenza, their sale will go up. So the pharmaceutical companies, they can take an informed decision, and from there they will try to get the influenza medicines more in production during this period. Okay. And they can also look into the thing, what is the appreciation of the number of the patients. Okay. Because every year, if you see, there is a human growth or the population growth, because in India the population is growing quite fast. So it is quite expected that the number of patients in the next year will be higher than this year. Now, how much higher? Can you predict? We cannot predict. Here comes the application of the DSP. If you take the previous statistical informations, it will give you a trend at what percent what will be the percentage increase of the patients in the coming year. Okay, so in this way you can plan your own business. Okay. Now coming to the science. In science, how it happens? Okay. So we are talking about various antibiotics and other stuffs. Nowadays, due to the coronavirus pandemic, we are talking about vaccines. We are talking about these things, antibiotics and all these things. So how does the DSP helps us? I would just tell you a simple example how the antibiotics may be produced and how the quality of the or the quantum of the antibiotic will be what you call the production quantum can be increased using the DSP. Usually antibiotics, they are the chemicals which are being synthesized by the bacteria itself. Okay, so if you have to grow a bacteria, we use a system which is called bioreactor. Okay, it has some baffles, it has some inlet port for the media, it has some outlet ports, port. Okay, inlet port, outlet port. So you are having media, then you may have a stirrer. Okay, so what you do, the stirrer rotates and you are having the media which goes in, which stays over there. Then you seed some bacteria. So these red dots, they are bacteria. Okay, and you want to grow them. Okay. Now, depending on the growth of this bacteria, the quality or the quantum of the product what you want to get from the bacteria will be determined. So these products which are generated from the bacteria, they are in general regarded as secondary metabolites. Okay, so these are nothing but, in simple term, these are some chemicals which are being generated by the bacteria. Now these chemicals, when they are released into the medium, because once you put the medium into the reactor, you close this. So these are called batch reactors, batch bioreactors. So you close the vents and then you grow the bacteria. After some time, you drain off the liquid portion and again put in fresh media. Okay, so in this way it goes. So what happens? Sorry, the inlet port may be upside and the outlet port is downside, because we want to get the this thing liquid fraction. Okay, so what is happening over here? When these chemicals are being produced and they come out into the media, they may change the different properties. Say for example, they may change the pH of the system. Okay, then these bacteria are growing. When they are when they will get the food, they will start growing, and when they start growing, they will become too populous. Okay, so you will be having a lot of bacteria. So you need to find out the density of the bacteria within this media, at regular interval you should take out this is sufficient amount of the bacteria, so that the rest of the bacteria they give proper space and food to grow properly. And if they can grow properly, then only you will get a good quality of these chemicals. Now the next application is in industry. Now in industry, what happens is that various processes, they are being implemented within the industry. Okay. Now what happens, suppose this is a process pipeline, you are having some input and you are getting some output. Now at different locations you have to monitor the quality of the products. Okay. So this process is called process monitoring. Why it is done? This is done to find out the quality of the product at each and every step. Okay. Now the process monitoring can be done manually, as I have shown. There are two human beings and they are looking into the process parameters of the products at different stages. Okay, and that is the one way. Now the problem with the manual process monitoring systems is that when you want to look into the process manually, the perception of the first person may differ from the perception of the second person. Now suppose you have asked this person A to monitor this process at this point, say small a, and you have asked the person B to monitor the process at B. Now at some point the person A, he does not turns up for his duty due to some reason, say he is sick or something like that. Now what will happen? Another person, person C, he will be brought into the place of person A and he will be monitoring the thing. Now every persons are different. Now perception of person A and perception of person C would definitely be different, but if it is significantly different, then the process through which the product is being produced will be hampered in a great manner. So because of this reason, the industries are now implementing process monitoring using automated systems which employs digital signal processing. Okay. Now say for example, there is a pipeline and you are giving some input and you are getting some output. Say for example, at location capital A, we are adding some dye solution, and at location B, we add another dye solution. Now if I have to do the process monitoring in an automated way, what I will do, say after a distance of small a, down the line, what I will do, I will install a sensor, say S1 or SA. Okay, I will install a sensor SA. Similarly, for monitoring the injection of the dye B, I will inject or I will install another sensor SB, right? Now, what are these sensors SA and SB? These sensors SA and SB, they will monitor the color of the solution at this point and this point respectively. Now you would say, why you need these things and why I have installed the sensor after a certain distance. First of all, when your process is flowing, suppose a fluid is flowing, you have injected a dye, then what will happen is that it will take some time to mix up. Now it will be having a particular color. Now you don't know whether the color has been added into an appropriate amount or not. On the other hand, it may so happen the person who has loaded the dye A, instead of A, he has put a dye C. So if you can detect the change in the color at an early stage, then you can prevent the loss of the industry. So we can find out or detect the altered system over here, and we will be able to detect this error at an early stage. Okay, now this will help us in reducing the losses. Now not only the losses, it will also help the industry personnel to restart the process in a quick fashion. Okay, similarly in the point B also, if say someone instead of B dye puts in D dye, it will help you in monitoring the color formation at this point. So there can be a multiple checkpoints across a process line. Now what happens? These process systems, they go to a digital signal processors. Okay. Now they take some decision, and based on their decision, they can generate the alarm. Okay. So in this way, the digital signal processing can help an industry. There are other examples also. Say for example, in a pharmaceutical industry, they may produce different colored pills. Say one is red, you can have another one as blue. Okay, you can have another this thing as green, right? So the digital signal processing applications, they can help us in sorting out of particular colored pills from a bunch of different colored pills. Okay. Now next, coming to the military. In military, what we have, we talk about the missile systems. India has its own indigenous BrahMos missile, okay, which has been developed by ISRO, which has been developed by DRDO in association with Russia. Okay. Now in this case, what happens over here? Suppose you are using this missile to target a place X. Okay. So this missile will take off from the launch pad and it will go and it will destroy this location X. Now how it will reach? Who will guide this missile to this location? So these missiles, they have digital signal processors within itself, which will guide this missile system to the specific location. Now you may think of a condition that there is some anti-missile rocket launchers. Okay. Now these rocket launchers, they will try to destroy this BrahMos missile, right? So you can make the BrahMos missile as adaptive system which will detect that a rocket launcher is coming, a rocket is coming to destroy itself. After detecting that, it will generate self-defense mechanisms to disguise the rocket, and or it may change its own path, and by changing its own path, it will that means I want to say that it will maneuver its path and still it will go and strike this location. So this is an example of adaptive signal processing. Why adaptive? It is adapting the conditions what it is perceiving across itself, and then it is intelligently employing some countermeasures without compromising of targeting a specific target. Okay, so you can see that DSP is playing an important role in our defense also. Sorry. Next, this is in the army. Then you think of this night vision cameras. What are night vision cameras? Night vision cameras are basically IR cameras which help us to look into the objects at night. Okay, so why this is important? If you remember, in one of my classes I told you that human body are radiating infrared rays. Okay, they are radiating infrared rays. Now these infrared rays, so which are being radiated, they are being captured by the night vision camera. Okay, so usually in the dark where there is no light, we will not be able to see this person. However, when we use the night vision camera, it allows us to visualize the person even in the dark condition. However, the color information which we normally see under daylight, that will be lost. The night vision cameras will give us some color information, but those color informations are pseudo pseudo colors. That means there are no colors, but by applying some digital signal processing technique, we give some pseudo colors depending upon the intensity what we perceive. Okay, then coming to the Air Force. In the Air Force we have recently we have heard about this Rafale jets which have been procured by India to strengthen its border capabilities. So these are high level advanced aircrafts which are capable of targeting different areas with the help of the missiles which they are capable to launch. Okay, similar to the missile systems, the modern day jet aircrafts, they also have some self-defense mechanisms. Okay, usually if they see, suppose one jet is under attack through a missile, so they emit flares. Okay, they emit flares, and these flares they try to disguise the rockets which has been launched to destroy the jets. Okay, so how these are done? Again, these are being carried out using the signal processing techniques. Okay. Then coming to the Navy, in the Navy also you will find similar kind of stuffs, right? Now coming to the communication. In communication, DSP helps us to talk even though the persons are distantly located. Okay. So previously we used to have the landline. Now with the advent of the development in the technologies, we have got mobiles. Now using the mobiles, we are not only able to talk, but we are also able to browse internet, send emails, then do video chats, right? Let me change the color of the pen. Okay. So you can see we can perform a wide lot of applications over here, right? Nowadays you will find that IoT based, which can be implemented using not only the mobile phones but also the computers. So IoT based control systems. Nowadays medical IoT, where IoT means Internet of Things. Internet of Things. Nowadays, a specific area on medical IoT, it has been developed. Okay, so many people, what they are trying to do is that they are trying to control various medical device just using a mobile phone or a computer from a remote location. Few reports on the delivery of drugs from a remote location has also been proposed by various researchers. Okay. So next what? Next comes our medicine. Now we will be concentrating on this more because our course is on biomedical signal processing. So I will give some of the examples of how biomedical signal processing can help us. This digital signal processing can help us in various medical applications. Okay. The first one I have already said. Suppose there is a woman okay, so she is pregnant. Okay, now we can take the ECG signal of the mother and we can also take the signals, ECG signals of the fetus. Okay, but the problem over here is that the ECG signal of the fetus is taken from the abdomen area of the mother, right? Now, the mother's heart generates a strong ECG signal, while the ECG signal of the fetus, it is very weak. So, even though we try to take the signal of the ECG signal of the fetus from the abdomen area, what we get is a composite of both ECG signals of the mother and the fetus. So we will call it this second input as ECG abdomen, ABD. Okay. Now we have adaptive digital signal processing systems. Now what they do, they implement some algorithms and they give us an output signal which is an ECG of the fetus. Okay. So this is one of the examples of application of DSP in biomedical area. Okay. Next, you must have heard that either your parents or grandparents or your friend they are suffering from diabetes. If they are suffering from insulin dependent diabetes, then they can take insulin and they can bring the blood sugar level within range or within control. But if you see the persons over here, they take insulin either at lunch or at dinner or at specific times, and they do not know what is happening in between the lunch and dinner or in between when they are taking the insulin. Now this is a disadvantage. Now with the advent in the technological advancements, now there are various systems which employs blood glucose sugar monitoring systems which are implanted subcutaneously just below the skin. Cutaneous means skin, sub means below the skin. Okay. Now these sensors, they take reading and they send it to a digital signal processor. Now this digital signal processor converts the signals into the amount of blood sugar level within the body, and depending upon that it directs an insulin pump which will inject insulin within the human body. Okay. So see, instead of giving the insulin at discrete times, what these digital signal processing systems are allowing us, they are allowing us to inject the insulin when there is a need. Okay, when there is a need. So this is a need-based system. So DSP is allowing us to deliver medications when we will be having a need. A similar system can also be designed for controlling fevers. So instead of the insulin or the blood sugar measuring system, we will be having a temperature measuring system. Okay, and instead of the insulin pump, we will be having a drug injecting pump. Okay. So this kind of closed loop systems, they have been developed, which has improved the quality of the lifestyle of the diseased person. Okay. Another example I would take, and this third example is for the rehabilitation purposes. This is for the rehabilitation purposes. Now suppose there is a person who is significantly disabled. Okay. However, he is having some eye movements. So what we can do? We can take the EOG signals from him. What are EOG signals? EOG signals are electrooculogram. I have already told you, and these are the associated with, or these signals can be generated just by moving your eyes in different directions. Either you move over here, here, or in the front, or in the top. If you move the eye in the top, it will generate another type of signal. If you move the eyes down, it will generate another type of EOG signals. Now, by the combination of different signals, EOG signals, we can also generate a combination of signals which can be encoded to do specific action. Okay. So these EOG signals, they are being taken, they are processed, and then they are being used to generate control signals which can be used for controlling rehabilitative devices. Some of the common rehabilitative devices include wheelchair, the second one is your robotic arms, okay. Third is, if the person is bedridden, he does not have the capability to communicate with someone, so he can operate communication devices. Okay. So these are some of the examples of the rehabilitation based devices. Okay. So I think this is it for today. So I will stop over here. Thank you very much for your kind attention.